Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Hunter Starcraft, and I'm casting Game 2 between these two players today. Spawning at the bottom left position is Xel Naga Caverns. We have our red Terran player, one of the top Terrans in Korea, oGs.Ensnare. His opponent, spawning to the top right, one of the best Foreigner Protoss players of all time in Starcraft 2, Liquid.Tyler. Liquid.Tyler, as I mentioned in Game 1 between these two players, is a Starcraft Brood War Pro where he went by the name Noni. We've got a little APM battle here. Oh, what happened to your APM? Ensnare. Dropping down to 0 for a quick second. I thought he might have been typing something, but no, just sending that SCV out to the top of the ramp to put down to the supply depot. Begin working on a wall off there. It's interesting that Ensnare walls off on a map like Xel Naga Caverns, but he chose not to wall off on Xel Naga Fortress. Of course, this is a two-player map, and as such, you're going to get scouted a lot faster. So, you know, that has certainly contributed to his decision-making, I'm sure. Ensnare, member of the Old Generations clan, one of the top clans in Korea. I'd say the average skill level on a team like oGs might be the highest out of all the clans. They've got just a lot of really good players. Chrono Boost going down on the Nexus, and the first gateway on the way as this probe is heading out to scout as well. In both matchups here, Tyler scouting before Ensnare, and there's really no surprise there as the Protoss player has a smaller window to do scouting. Of course, you get Marines out a hell of a lot faster than you get Stalkers out to deal with the scouting SCV. Therefore, the Terran player has the luxury of scouting a little bit later. We do have a simulator that's complete, and look at this, refinery done as well for our Terran player, which is interesting because in the last map on Xel Naga Fortress, Ensnare did a very different build order. He got a barracks, command center, and then 2 more barracks. So very macro-oriented build. That is not what he's doing here on Xel Naga Caverns. So both players sort of exhibiting some differences, one compared to the previous matchup. This Marine nearly complete, and the probe not doing as much scouting as he could have done. This probe now heading home and back at the Protoss base. Second assimilator on the way. Cybernetics core nearly complete as well. This probe just picks up the Xel Naga watchtower, and yeah, it's going to be back home. I know I mentioned that before. That's okay. In the Terran base, though, I see on the production tab we do have a reactor on the way along with a second barracks. No signs of fast expanding yet from these players. I'm wondering when they are actually going to pick up their additional bases. So 1 reactor, 1 tech lab for the 2 barracks. Still just 1 refinery as the orbital command now, well, it's been complete for a little while. This SCV taking the Tasteless Secret Hallway, making sure there's no proxies. He could have actually even scouted in the far bottom right corner. It's not uncommon to hide a proxy pylon in that far bottom right position, and the SCV didn't scout there. So yeah, I'm pointing a hole in a Korean pro gamer's play. Concussive shells on the way. Looks like, in terms of the unit composition, very similar to what we saw in Xel Naga Fortress from Ensnare. Liquid.Tyler, on the other hand, getting a robotics facility. Warp Gate research now nearly complete. He sees the SCV, and this SCV, ooh, is it going to make it up? Oh! Gets sliced by one of the Zealots, and this sentry helped out a little bit as well. Another gateway going down along with that robotics facility, and as we can see on Ensnare's vision, he has absolutely no idea what's going on for tech here. So Tyler's actually in a pretty good spot. He's going 3-gate robo, and he's got some sentries out already. Well, actually, I guess it's just the 1 sentry, I believe. But you know what? It's banking energy. He's going to be able to force field the ramp if need be to delay this bio push from our Terran player as long as possible. This is an interesting time to put on aggression. These pro players know as well as anyone to put pressure on while expanding. It's not necessarily a good idea to go for an all-out attack. Oh, you got to be careful. A couple of nice force fields going down. These Zealots doing a lot of damage. 3 Marines killed already. 4 Marines down. A 5th gets taken out. And number 6 getting sliced in half. 2 Marine chunks on the ground there. With just 2 sentries left, though, along with the Zealot, they are forced back. Concussive shells delaying. Oh, and that sentry barely escapes. That force field absolutely clutch, and I'm sure that there's enough energy for a few more force fields as well. This observer now heading into the base of Ensnare, going to see exactly what's going on there, and I'm sure he's going to scout the command center shortly as well. That is nearly complete. A probe gets actually taken out at the natural of Tyler here, and a good timing for Tyler to move out, not letting that bunker complete. You don't want to let a soft contain go down in this situation, especially when your Terran opponent is expanding. One of the Marauders gets taken out, and now that there's an Immortal on the field, yeah, of course, Terran player Ensnare is going to want to move back. You do not want to be engaging an Immortal with Marauder shells. And yeah, that was sort of the big tech reveal, actually, because up until this point, I don't believe that Ensnare had any reason to believe that Tyler was going for this kind of robotics 3-gate robo build. Back at Ensnare's base, he's still just pumping out a Marauder, a couple Marines, getting stim packs on the way, finally putting down a factory as well. You know, not until the point that he had 3 barracks does he finally choose to put down this factory. He's going to probably tech to Starport and pump out some medevacs, just like we saw in the last game. This observer does manage to spot the factory. Nothing too crazy in terms of intel there, though. I mean, it's pretty understandable at this stage of the game. And we actually have 2 forges complete. And look at this. This is actually like Tyler's trademark here. +1 attack, +1 armor, chrono boost going down on both of those forges. So what this basically does for a Protoss player is just opens a very powerful, sharp timing window where you can do a lot of damage, because, you know, all of a sudden you've got these double upgrades coming out and your ground units are really going to be able to overpower your opponents. Even though the Terran player stim packs and concussive shells, he's getting combat shield as well, and he's putting down a starport and getting a reactor as well. I'm just spotting this off of the production tab, keeping an eye on the natural expansion of Tyler. He has managed some probes down there, as has Ensnare. Both players just securing their bases, their natural expansions, and content to, you know, sort of hunker down there and turtle a little bit for each of them. Now we can see 6 gate. So this makes a lot of sense. 6 gateways, going to be pumping out units off of those warp gates, and I mean, that's what you need when you're going with these 2 forge chrono boosted upgrades. You just want to get as many ground units out as possible and hit a timing window. I really doubt we're going to see Tyler try to pick up a 3rd base anytime soon. We'll probably see a nice timing. Look at this SCV scout heading in. He really sees nothing except, you know, I guess he sees the unit composition. It wasn't necessarily necessary to reveal all of that. 2 more barracks going up on the low ground, along with Ghost Academy that just started and an engineering bay as well. So we actually have a Terran player who's kind of late on the upgrades. Like, he's only finishing his eBay now, and the +1/+1 for Protoss is already complete. So this is actually not a good time for Ensnare to be moving out. I mean, if he knew what I knew as the spectator, of course, it's pretty sweet having these, you know, being able to see the whole map. But if he knew what I knew, he would know that it's not a good idea to be engaging right now. He's going to want to bunker up and just try to play defensively, because this Protoss ball is just too powerful with the +1/+1. Even another gateway on the way. Tyler analyzing, realizing that he needs, you know, more production facilities to spend his gigantic income. You can see on the mini-map in that second hallway to the top, we do have 3 Marines just heading into the mineral line. We'll get a shot of those Marines in just a second, I think, as the proxy pylon is going down and Tyler is waiting to attack. There we go. These Marines have probably gotten about 5, maybe 6 probe kills there. They do get taken out by some stalkers that are now going to be walking to meet this pack here. And this is going to be a huge engagement, guys. I'm pumped. Now, look at this. Not enough casters. Look at the spending tab. Look at this spending on the army. 6,000 resources instead of 5,000 resources here. So this is the kind of timing window I'm talking about. Tyler has a stronger army. He's invested more resources in his army. And he has the upgrades as well. He's got +1/+1, and the Terran player, I don't think, has any upgrades whatsoever. So here we go. Guardian Shield's going down. A ton of Zealots leading the way. Let me get rid of these tabs for you, as this is just a giant engagement. He's got to be microwing that Immortal correctly. You want to be targeting the Marauders with the Immortal. 2 Guardian Shields, though, just absorbing so much damage. That +2 to armor does so much. These Zealots are tearing apart the SCVs in the top left. And then to the right here, these Stalkers zoning the Marauders very effectively with the use of force fields as well. Even the Orbital Command lifting off, making a little bit more room for this battle to commence here. And these Stalkers just continuing to close in. It seems like Tyler just has such a powerful army. The Ghost here just forced to use his regular attack. Doesn't have enough energy, does get taken out. And I'm thinking that that is going to be about GG, about 2.5 supply advantage here for Tyler. And Ensnare actually calls GG. So, I mean, between these two guys, it is 1-1 right now. But after recording these games, I kind of realized that I'm pretty sure these are just ladder matches. It wasn't like a best-of-3 series or anything like that. So, there's no game 3. It was just these two matches. I hope you guys enjoyed them. Both players showing different build orders in each game. And Tyler able to battle back, you know, warping in units off of 6-7 warp gates, and with the chrono boosted upgrades, it was just a little bit too much for Ensnare to handle. Great timing window from Tyler, showing us a very powerful Protoss build. Alright guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I am Hunter Starcraft once again. All of my videos go up at huntersc.tv. You can check out the archive there. And until next time, peace out.